Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HCW Podcast. This week, we will be reviewing Friday Night Smackdown, Monday Night Raw, and AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, rather than a Tuesday. Roll intro.
HCW Reviews.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am Frozzy, your host, along with my good friend Rate Wrestle. How are you doing today, bud?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. We've just had a breakthrough moment just before we started filming this, which means we might actually get the TW series rolling. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I just rolling along. How are you?
Yeah, just tired, mate. Like we discussed before, I just don't feel like I'm getting days off at the minute, but it'll turn around and everything will jump into place and you'll get into a routine and we're all good. But yeah, apart from that, I'm fine.
Excellent.
All right, so I mean, it's been a pretty decent week in wrestling terms. I mean, I've enjoyed all three shows. So if you want to start us off with Friday Night Smackdown, and we'll get going.
Yeah, so Friday Night Smackdown started with a good old Solo Sikoa versus Sheamus, which, you know, that was a decent matchup. I rated 3 stars. Sheamus, I mean, Solo got a big win, which I expected it, but also it was kind of like a shock at the same time for it. But both guys look good. It was like a proper breakthrough win for Solo because he's been fighting like middle of the pack kind of guys. So this was a decent start to the night. Yeah,
he got some time as well.
Yeah, and then obviously
Sheamus is just having another banger.
Yeah, but he won't be having bangers for much more, seeing as the Bloodline have broke his arm basically. Full on obliterated Sheamus. Like, I've got the image up on the screen for people, but yeah, he absolutely got obliterated. Battering him, then they got a chair, whacked it off the steel step, so he's going to be out for a bit, surely. So Brawling Brutes are going to have no head, basically. Going to be like headless chickens for a bit. This was followed by, which I haven't got an image of, Mysterio was out back, and then Imperium, which is basically having a rant at him, because obviously Mysterio is now the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, and the Mysterio challenges one of them to come down to fight him later on in the night, which we'll get there at that point. Then we had a weird Bray Wyatt promo because the music was too loud in the background. Like, I don't know if they didn't. It's got to be on purpose because I've never seen a WWE show where they've like the music in the background's too high. It's weird. But yeah, it was pretty much just like the 7 circles and serpent circle. And then the ranting, and then the music got louder, and I was kind of not really paying attention. I'm going to be honest.
I'm interested to see where this goes. There's so many theories that you read, and I'm just like, I want it now, which means they're doing a good job.
And then we'll get to something that weirdly happened later on with himself as well. Bloodline out backstage, and they were proper hyped about ruining Sheamus's life. And then the work is done. We need to leave now. Can we go to the product? And then Jay's like, nah, I'm going to attack Logan Paul. And then Sammy's like, no, you can't do that. Because, you know, Roman said, I want him 100%. Stuff like that. And then Jay's like, nah, I'm going to attack Logan Paul. Which eventually he says, no, I won't do anything. Because that's wrestling. And that's definitely not going to happen at all later on. Next up, we had a Valhalla Awaits promo again. And I'm really actually looking forward to this. It's definitely Sarah Logan. I don't know why we're questioning it. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they do with Sarah Logan in the Viking Raiders. Because obviously, previously, we knew she was going out with Eric. I'm going to go with Eric.
I think it is Eric.
But they weren't linked at all. But now she's kind of gone into that route, which is good as well. Next up, Braun and Omos in the ring. Braun got pushed out the ring. That was pretty cool. Omos is tall. That's genuinely what MVP says. That's pretty much it. He's tall. Okay. McIntyre was up next. He was just discussing about like he's going to have a steel cage match with Karrion Kross at Crown Jewel. That Crown Jewel's looking stacked, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And I don't like, if I can help it, I try not to watch the Saudi shows. But this one does look stacked. And I think I might have to watch it.
To be fair, the last one they had was really good as well. I can't remember. It was like Hell in a Cells was in it and stuff like that. They put out a great show for Saudi. And at least there's not like just a random fucking Goldberg appearance out of nowhere and stuff just because Goldberg. Or next up, we had Damage Control versus Raquel and Shotzi. It was competitive. I rated 2 3/4. Like, it was one of the better Raquel matches we've had recently, which isn't Raquel's fault. It's just more that they keep either throwing her with Aaliyah and she's squashing, or she's just generally squashing people. But this was actually a quite decent matchup.
Well, Aaliyah's been squashed now, hasn't she? So she won't be back for a while. So.
Yeah, so, but yeah, Damage Control picked up the win. It was fine. Ronda Rousey is full on going into the heel side, which is great because it suits her character, because she is one of the best like mixed martial artists there's ever been in the bantamweight, I think it was. And now she's basically saying, I'm doing stuff at my time, so there's no open challenge this week, you moron. But next week there's going to be one. Who do we think's going to answer?
Someone completely random. Imagine if it was Sarah Logan.
And she wins, yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be someone. It could be Shotzi. I mean, we're seeing a lot of her at the minute. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Shotzi.
I think it could be a random NXT woman wrestler like Roxanne Perez or someone like that.
Well, hopefully Shayna Baszler. But I mean,
that'd be a good match.
That'd be the perfect match. But that's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, definitely.
On free TV. But I can see it just leading and it not having a finish.
Yeah.
And then you go to the pay-per-view with it.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to a Baszler random match. I'm hoping they eventually give it. Annoyingly, what happened next? I can't find an image, but Bray Wyatt has a Red Dead character in his faction. It looks like the cowboy guy. I couldn't find an image randomly, which I thought would be everywhere. But yeah, it was just a weird like vignette with a guy that looks like he is literally from Red Dead. You barely see any of his face. You just see like a mustache, cowboy hat. But you can tell he's going to be one of the Wyatt Six, like a proper hellhound kind of guy. Next up, we had Santos Escobar and the rest of Legado del Fantasma backstage, just basically putting everyone on notice. And then we had a weird a promo with Hit Row and B-Fab where they need to get they're trying to get the situation sorted out because obviously it's for them. It was just there, I'll be honest. Like, nothing major happened with it. Main event time, we had Ludwig, and he said Ludwig Vorga, the Finnish guy from WWF in 1995 or something like that. Mysterio versus Ludwig Kaiser. Match of the night, I'd say. Good back and competitive match. I really enjoyed the Guerrero spot, but it wasn't his usual Guerrero spot. And outside, which got Gunter and Eichner thrown out. Good back and forth, and then Mysterio picked up the win with a frog splash, I believe, after his 619. And then we round off SmackDown with Logan Paul having a decent enough promo saying that it only takes one moment for me to beat Roman Reigns, like it just one fluke, basically, which I like. He's saying it's a fluke. He isn't going, I'm going to just batter Roman Reigns. And then, obviously, nothing happened because Jey Uso was never going to attack Logan Paul at the end of the night. But then he attacked Logan Paul at the end of the night. So Jey Uso battered Logan Paul. He was absolutely obliterating him. And then Sami Zayn's come down to go, no. And then Jey Uso's like, yeah. And then Logan Paul just knocks him out just with one punch to prove the point. It only takes one punch.
Him out.
Yeah.
I like the way they've done it. I don't necessarily agree with the match, but I like the way they've built it.
Yeah, it's good build-up.
It is. So, it's so random that Logan Paul's getting the shot. But
it's Saudi, though, isn't it?
It's fine. They have probably asked for it. But
but yeah, that was the end of SmackDown. It wasn't the best of SmackDowns, but it was fine. It was alright. Yeah. Watchable.
A fine SmackDown is 10 times what it was a year ago. So,
start of our podcast.
I was quite happy. Oh, God, it was dreadful.
It was a horrible time.
We started back in March, didn't we, just before Mania? Yeah. And it was dreadful.
Terrible time.
But now, a fine SmackDown is what we'd class as a bad SmackDown, which is good.
Let's move on to Raw, I'm assuming.
Yes. I just thought you're reviewing, you'll just say.
Okay, that's fine. I was going to, but I didn't want to take it away from you, but I'm going to. Because,
you're okay.
Judgment Day, they were discussing about Dominic's trying to be an ultimate heel by saying he's better than Eddie Guerrero, which is an outrageous claim in itself.
Yeah.
The greatest luchador that's been
Unbelievable.
in wrestling. Good grief.
I could not believe what I was hearing. I was like they've let him say it, and like he wanted to say it.
Yeah.
But I get it, he's a heel, so it got the reaction it needed.
It was fine. And then you obviously had the OC come down, and then Balor was basically saying that he created the club, which is fair enough because he did. Because he was the founding member of the Bullet Club, for anyone that has never watched New Japan, and just this is random people. But yeah, and this led to Anderson and Balor having a matchup. Rated 3.25 stars. Instantly, it was better than most all the matches on SmackDown because it was just good. Anderson doesn't get to show how good he is as a singles wrestler in WWE that often. He's normally always in a tag team match. Obviously, he's the Never Openweight champion right now, which is a big issue happening with that right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know the total issues, but just reading around servers, like, people are not happy.
The general issue is that Carl Anderson is in Saudi Arabia the night he's supposed to defend the championship, and New Japan says no, he has to be at the actual show, and then Carl Anderson basically come out and says I'll defend the title when I want to defend the title. So it's either a massive work or he's just a weird. They're going to vacate. I'm assuming. I'd love it to be a work.
I mean, if it's a work, then New Japan are so dumb for doing it.
Yeah.
But if it isn't, then what a bit of an idiot he is.
Yeah. But I'd love it if he actually turned up at New Japan instead of the Saudi show. Like, they actually booked someone just to replace him in the WWE show, because it would show good things between them. But yeah, it's never going to happen. It's going to be a bad time. Anderson, I can't really. I think Balor picked up the win in this. I haven't written a note down on it. And then the highlight of the whole match was Rhea Ripley body slam Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gallows definitely lost because he got low blowed, didn't he, by Rhea at that point? Yeah, because Rhea's got like the crown jewels in her hand half the time now, which she's just low blowing everyone. Next up, we had Gargano and Miz in the ring. So Miz was saying, Gargano says, I know what it is, and then Miz says, you don't know what you know, and then it was just a general thing, and he was going, you need to tell truth. And then here comes our truth.
Yeah. So random that it was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And our truth was like, what do you need to tell me, basically?
Yeah.
And it ended up randomly, out of all things, an R-Truth match, randomly on Raw.
He was in his hometown, wasn't he?
Yeah, so they did give it him. I rated it 1 star because the match was an absolute, like, just quick roll-up match, yeah. Distraction by Gargano, because Gargano was dressed up as Loomis at the side of the ring, and obviously Miz thought it was Loomis. And it ended up with him distracting for truth.
There's a big size discrepancy there. There is a huge size discrepancy.
Yeah, Loomis is smaller.
How did Miz not see through that? No, is he? I'd say Gargano.
No, Loomis is definitely massive to Gargano. Not massive, but yeah. I thought you were being honest then. I was like...
No.
Did anyone pick Gargano for TEW? Someone must have.
Maybe. I'd have to go and look.
I'm not that as fussed as if you have to go. I don't know if it's there. I'd be surprised if no one did.
I don't remember picking him. I'll be honest.
I don't remember picking him either.
Because I have turned it off apparently.
Yeah, there's no rush with it. While you're looking for that, so we had a bit with LeRae backstage having an interview. Damage Control came in and absolutely beat the crap out of her, but they did a fun thing where they actually pushed the camera away. So it was just kind of like you could hear them getting battered, because it's usually the cameraman just staring at someone getting battered. But yeah, this time you got knocked down, it made sense.
Yeah.
Next up after that, we had now I've got the match there. Elias was backstage speaking to Riddle. Elias basically said if a Riddle interrupts him one more time, he won't be having it. And then he's speaking, and then all you hear is shoosh, and here comes Chad Gable, and then Elias says pretty much, I was just telling him don't interrupt me, and you've interrupted me, and it ends up being a match later on in the night. Next up, we had Ali versus Fury, which was a good competitive, young matchup. There were so many distractions in Raw, though. Every match ended with someone getting distracted. So Ali got distracted by Rollins, who was on commentary, and Austin Theory picked up the win. I rated it 3 stars. It was an enjoyable matchup. But as I said, it was annoying that there was another distraction straight away.
Yeah.
Have you? Do we know who drafted yet?
Nope.
You're gonna have
The most worrying thing for me at this point is that I can't find it.
You got the video though, so that'll be.
Oh yeah, no, I know I'll be able to get it back, but I just don't know. I saved it. I just don't know where I saved it to.
Wonderful. So Ali and Steph have a bit of a beatdown after that. There's fighting at the back. Ali's trying to one-up the ship. Ali's not a contender for me, but I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Omos. Omos, we'll bring back to RGX, and Omos would be gone by now. I knew Omos would be for here forever. And he's fighting 4 people at once. Absolutely Morse people. Omos smash 3.25 stars because I enjoyed it for once because it was 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should just add an extra person each week.
Right, I found it.
It should be like, do you know, have you seen that battle simulator where you have like, you can create battles where you can have like 2,000 chickens versus 1 Spartan, stuff like that. I just want it Omos every week, seeing eventually if he can beat 700 people. Yeah.
Just keep upping it.
Just once a week, and then in like 2 years' time, he's fighting 100 people.
Yeah. I found out where Gargano is.
He's at DP, isn't he?
Yeah, with Candice LeRae. He drafted them both. Separately, not even as one pick.
Oh, that's very odd. But fair enough. DP's got, the whole British roster, though, so he's not going to do well anyway. Next up, we had Gargano and JBL backstage. JBL was basically saying Gargano needs to learn some respect, and he's going to fight Corbin later on. That was before the Omos match, just to confirm. I missed that out, so I was going back to that. Next up, we had Elias versus Gable. I rated 2 stars. It was a bit clunky and a bit meh, which is disappointing for a Gable match because every match has been a bit of a banger, so I don't know if it was Elias that caused this issue. Otis kind of caught the beat down at this point, and then Riddle kind of made the save. Next up, before the image we've got on the screen, we had the OC backstage, and they said they've got they need a re-elution, which I did really like. And then Gallows went, "I'm good with the ladies. I'll go sort it out." And it came back, and then Gallows is holding his balls because Rhea's low blowed him as well. So that's what I really enjoyed about that. But they're clearly going to get a woman to be in the OC, I'm assuming, or someone backup, which I don't know who it's going to be.
I'm assuming it'll be Natalia. Not Natalia. Beth Phoenix.
Do you think she'll join up with them? Because obviously Edge is out. Do you think she'll be joining up with the OC for a bit?
Yeah, well, she got the concerto, didn't she? It makes sense.
No, it would make sense, but unless Edge is coming back at the same time, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But I just think from a story standpoint, that's what needs to happen. It's the only woman she's hit.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Next up, where are we? So JBL did a rundown of the city as usual, which is becoming his thing now after 2 weeks. Corbin versus Gargano, very good match. I rated 3.25 stars, but it ended with, once again, another interference. JBL tripped Gargano because Gargano robbed his hat, and Corbin ended up winning. It was good a match up to that point, but I think it was just let down by that. It was another interference. Like 3 matches, 3 interferences, Bianca had a promo, and I'm just going to throw these 2 words out because it was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. People are catching shots. And I was like, what are we saying here?
Yeah.
Everyone's catching shots, and it's like, what are you on about, Bianca Belair? But yeah, she wants payback. Then we had the Miz out back, and then Gargano's basically saying he's going to tell the truth if Miz doesn't do it next week. So I'm hoping they do it next week because they need to do something.
Yeah, because it's boring.
So
get it over with.
And then we had the main event, which I thought was an actual title match, and I tweeted out previous to this match thinking it was a title match, but no, it's a championship contender match, which I just expected them to give her a title match again, but fair enough. It was my match tonight. I rated 3.5. Like, it was a good match, back and forths. And what happened in the end was Bayley ended up picking up the win, and then out of nowhere. This is what happened, wasn't it? Yeah, out of nowhere, a random woman jumps on Bianca and Bayley.
No, she jumped on. The referee came outside to get rid of Io and Dakota, and then she jumped from the turnbuckle and took them out with the ref.
Yeah.
And then the commentators were like, "Who is that? Who is that woman?" Like playing it off like they didn't know. And then they go back in the ring. Bianca, it's the KOD. There's no ref. So then Bianca is like trying to find the ref. Nikki attacks Bianca. It's with her finisher. I can't remember what it's called. Bayley crawls over.
Rose Plant, is it?
Yeah,
no,
could be that.
You want about Nikki Cross? It's the finisher.
Nikki Cross, yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica Carr runs down, counts to 3.
Yeah.
Bayley wins, gets up. Nikki Cross wipes her out as well.
Yeah. And it's good to see Nikki Cross actually like Nikki Cross. And it sounds like she's going back to pre-WWE because she used to be the star of the Galaxy, I think, or the great star of the Galaxy. And she tweeted out something about the Galaxy recently. So I'm looking forward to it because Nikki Cross is a good wrestler. And she got... Then again, it was her gimmick. She wanted to do that character, so I can't give her that much sympathy. But they kind of run it into the ground.
There was... RGX said this before he left, didn't he? That he wanted Nikki Cross to be given a proper character.
Yeah.
And, well, it's happening. So.
Yeah, and then hopefully, as I said, he said with this as well, they bring, like, Doudrop as in a proper character. I'm hoping they call her back as, like, but even if they just call her Pippa Niven, I'm happy with that rather than Doudrop.
Yeah.
And then hopefully Alba Fire comes up. But yeah, Raw was fine. There was some good moments in it. There was some moments I don't care about, but it's 3 hours, so that's going to be the case.
I was going to say, you're not going to find everything being perfect. Every now and again you will, but there's going to be... I'm not interested in Miz and Loomis. Could not care less.
Yeah.
So, that for me is like, don't really want to see it. So, I tend to switch out on them segments, but you'll probably switch out at another point. So,
like the main event, clearly. Not the end of the main event, because I don't write any notes on it, I'm assuming that's what's happened then. All I remember is all I've written, they finally saved Nikki Cross. That's all I've written at the end.
Yeah, it was, to be fair, I watched Raw on Tuesday while I was working, so I was sort of like working and watching. And then when I was on my break, I was going over the things today that happened that were major. Nikki Cross coming back as Nikki Cross was the major thing. So I literally watched the segment 3 hours ago. That's how I knew exactly what
that's
happened.
probably, I'll go with that, and it's not just that I didn't really pay attention. But yeah, match of the night, 3.5 I gave that.
It was a very good match.
So let's get into Dynamite, because that's how they say it at the end of it. So first up, we had the Jazz Society versus the BCC. Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. I'm starting to fall out of favour with Wheeler Yuta because he doesn't do anything for me. Promo-wise, wrestling-wise, he's kind of falling out. He had a great match with Garcia, but he's just there at the moment, especially because it's Claudio, Moxley, and Bryan in the faction. It's kind of like, and then there's Wheeler Yuta. It's kind of a bit of a meh. I rate the match 2 3/4. I didn't really care as much as some people did. Like, it was good, but there was the finish was a bit meh.
It was underwhelming.
It's because they ruined they made Claudio took out everyone. And then what should have happened is Jericho should have won, but Claudio took out everyone. It should have been good because Jericho won but he also took out Jericho, and it's kind of like, so Claudio's clearly going to win the title, surely, because he's just took out 5 people. It was fine. It was just the ending was a bit meh with that. Backstage, we had an interview with I'm going to call him DB, even though it's Brian Danielson at the moment. So he's frustrated. He's frustrated with Wheeler's not listening to him. He's frustrated he didn't lose the title. When he said he's frustrated that Wheeler didn't listen to him, Wheeler came over there and was basically saying, take it out of me if you want or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I literally wrote here, Wheeler, you'll do nothing. It's like... Then the Jazz Society had a promo backstage. Did you watch Dynamite, have you?
Not all of it. I was catching bits while I was working. So
did you see the promo backstage where the sound was meshed up on it? I don't know if it was just where I was
No.
watching it, but the sound was awful on it.
No.
The Jazz Society said that Claudio cheated because the bat was in the ring, even though Jericho clearly brought the bat in the ring. But then Jericho, which I love, every change of Jericho's brilliant. He was going, you know what? I'm going to take out everyone. You know, it's not just going to. It's going to be any kind of champion in Ring of Honor. It's going to be announcers. You know, I'm just going to take out everyone. Who do we think he's going to be his next opponent? And seeing as he's now said it's any Ring of Honor champion ever.
Yeah. God knows. It literally could be anyone. No, I don't know. I wouldn't like to speculate. I'm not massive on Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
What if like Jeff Hardy never held the title there, did he? Or well, he
did have tag title, so he can class as it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be Jeff or Matt, maybe.
Someone speculated, and I love it because it wouldn't happen. They expected Nigel McGuinness, which would be great, but it won't happen. One, he was a world champion, whereas this is going to be someone that was like a pure champion or TV champion or something like that. I'm going to go with Jay Briscoe because he held the title for so long, and it would be cool to see him in a singles match. But then again, he probably won't even be on there because for some reason AEW don't like booking the Briscoes. But I like booking the Briscoes on my TEW. Oh, God. Match of the night was up next, which was FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. Very, very good match. Like it was, I rated 3.5 stars. Both teams look great. FTR looks great all the time. I'm looking forward more to when Keith Lee and Swerve split and have a match because I feel like they would have a great match as a singles match. And weirdly enough, FTR ended up losing, which I was surprised by. And it's going to be the Acclaimed versus Swerve again. The match ended with the Gun Club, who were at the guardrail, grabbing onto Cash. And then because the ref couldn't see it, Dax just ended up getting pinned, but he couldn't get him, grab him. It was a good finish. I just enjoyed the match overall.
Yeah, matches are just good. You don't get anything, no matter who they're fighting. FTR matches are great.
Yeah.
And yeah, this did what it needed to do. But like you, I was quite surprised it didn't win. But,
yeah, and just a fanboy, Swerve retweeted my tweet, so you know he's a fan.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
So I'm a fan of everything he does from now on because that's how I get brought. Next up, we had a Saraya and Renee interview. It was just quite pointless, I'm going to be honest. Britt Breaker interrupted. Renee is everywhere.
Missed it.
Renee is everywhere. Like Officer Bar Brady, as Cornette called him, he's disappeared now. The interviewer. It's just Renee everywhere. Like I'm as we discussed this every week since, but I don't understand what the buzz is with Renee. Like she's fine, but it's Renee.
Yeah.
You know. I'm trying to think of like a random backstage interview that I'd suddenly go out. So like if Gene Okerlund was suddenly back in but like I think Gene Okerlund's passed years ago. But like if he was suddenly back on TV, I wouldn't be going every show goes Gene Okerlund. But yeah, it is what it is. MJF was up next. He had a fun interview with Renee, which was fun because Renee's obviously going out with John Moxley. So he's just ripping the piss out of him, which I liked, which I take the mick out of his old flipping, I'm going to beat the pissy, I'm going to drink your piss.
This was a masterpiece.
Yeah, and then MJF said stuff. Yeah, like he said stuff like, I'm probably going to cheat. Like when he said last week, I'm not going to cheat. He went, I'm probably going to cheat. He said he's not going to use his dominant dike ring, though. Stokely Hathaway came down, and then MJF got annoyed straight away, and he said, you better not touch Moxley at all. So this went straight to the Jey Uso moment in my head instantly. I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And yeah, it was just great. Like, very good promo. And, Moxley's mid.
It did everything it needed to do, and MJF gets better and better every time he promos.
Exactly.
Yeah, love the man.
And then up next, we had a Kingdom preview, which I really like the Kingdom. Pit them on TEW. And they're going to be facing, I think it's going to be Matt Taven versus Wardlow, which I feel like Matt Taven's going to get destroyed, which makes me sad. Wardlow's off the boil completely. My nephew will hate this because he's a massive Wardlow fan, but I don't care about Wardlow at the moment. They've ruined him. He needs to be a bodyguard or to be like the like Diesel variator, like when he was MJF. His promos are awful.
Yeah, he can't promo.
He can't
needs
speak.
a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
He needs a mouthpiece.
And then up next, let me frick the script. So we had DB versus Guevara. I enjoyed this match. I rated 3 stars, but it annoyed me at the same time. It's weird because I thought Brian Danielson should have smashed Sammy Guevara. From his interview where he's going to take out his frustrations, this shouldn't be that close. Like, Guevara could have won it so many times, but eventually Brian tapped him out and choked him out. And yeah, it was good match. It was a good match. In the essence, if it was on an indie show, it would be a good match because the story, Brian Danielson should have just beat the crap out of him.
Yeah. It annoys me.
Yeah.
And I just get annoyed watching Sammy Guevara, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's because he's a moron as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Backstage, we had Phoenix having an interview. He was discussing that he thinks that Penta's going to be double champion. I don't know what that means. So surely it's just double champion, not double champion. And then who came into the shot after that? Because I know the last guy. Who was the guy that discussed it before that? I've not written it down. Oh, it was flipping Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. That was it. So Christian Cage says that a Luchasaurus deserves an Atlantic title shot instead of Phoenix. And then Orange Cassidy comes in, looks at the mic and goes, "You challenge the title." Okay. That was it.
Yeah.
Next up, Hater versus...
Orange Cassidy, though, isn't it?
Hater versus Rio. This was a good match as well. I rated the same as in versus Guevara's match. I rated 3 stars. Good contest. It really helped Hater because she had like a good actual wrestling match where there's no kind of like this random distraction. She just won the match.
Yeah. Love Jamie Hater. Love her.
And, I love Riho. So it's fine.
Riho.
Next up, we had an Eddie Kingston promo with Renee backstage. She's everywhere.
Renee again?
Yeah. Kingston said that Moxie's going to win. I agree, Kingston. And then he's just doing a promo where he's just a bit weird and psychotic, and he's just saying, now just leave me alone, please. And he's just...
Do you think Moxley beats MJF?
Yes. No, I don't know now, because MJF, when we get there, MJF's a full face now, isn't he? Yeah. Moxley
I can't see a world where MJF doesn't win that match.
Yeah, I can. Moxley country. But yeah, Moxley versus Penta was the main event. I rated 2 3/4 because it just was so random. It was a decent match. It was just why Penta got a championship match. It was fine. There was some good spots. I just didn't. It was just another Moxley match in the end of the day with no real.
Where is Penta in these rankings? I don't remember seeing it come up. Is he like number 1 contender, or is it literally just random?
No, he's the triple tag champion, so clearly he is. He's got to be number 1 because he's got a title somewhere. It's just I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point in the rankings if you're not going to stick to him? So.
And then, weirdly enough, here comes the Firm to attack Moxley because that didn't happen on SmackDown, and they beat the absolute crap out of Moxley. MJF comes down and goes, "Actually, I probably shouldn't," and then he runs, but he walks off. And then out of nowhere, MJF sprints down and tells Stokely, "Stop this, or you're going to be fired." Or no, he said, "You are fired." And then out of nowhere, Ethan Page boots MJF's face off, and they absolutely beat the crap out of MJF. And I really enjoyed it, but the only thing I'm worried about is that the Firm literally could be another Hardy family office, and I'm worried about that because there's too many people in the Firm, and it's been so rushed to there's no link between them. It's like when it was Hardy, Private Party, Angelo, and flipping Jack Evans. It was just a mismatch of people, and I'm worried this could end up being just a random faction that's going to end up being AEW Dark Fodder. Oh, Matt Hardy's in the Firm as well. I don't know if you knew this.
No.
It came up, he lost the match on Rampage, so Matt Hardy's now in the Firm. And I think Private Party are in the Firm as well, but I don't know if they, but yeah.
Is this leading to a tag match next week with MJF and Moxley against some form of Firm?
Yeah, it'll be Ethan Page and I'm going to go with Morrissey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can...
It makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine. I'm liking what they're doing with MJF. I don't really want him as a face, but they're doing it well to make me want him as a face, so it's fine.
Yeah, he still has the heel vibe a little bit as well.
Yeah, anti-hero. Yeah.
Yeah, it works. It works. I'm enjoying what they're doing with him.
Exactly, yeah. And that was the end of the wrestling. There was no real disappointment this week.
No.
They were all fine.
No, all good stuff from my side and what I saw. Like I said, I didn't catch all of Dynamite, but I watched the bits that mattered. And I thought Dynamite was a solid show. Same with Raw. SmackDown, like you said, was fine. Not great, but fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully, leading into this week, it'll go from fine to good or great. If that happens, we're going to have a good week of wrestling. Again.
Crown Jewels next week as well, isn't it? Yeah.
I was going to say we've got the pay-per-view coming up, haven't we? So, or the PLE. But yeah, hopefully the pay-per-view lives up to the expectation because, as we said, the card is stacked.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think we are just about finished then. Have you got anything that you want to add? Or
we're going to be live on Twitch on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing, but we're going to be live.
Yeah, we're going live. We're going to play a game. We'll play multiple games probably. But yeah, just to get a feel for it, just so we know what we're doing. When we come to do the good stuff with TEW, we sort of know how we're going to go about it. So yeah, we're just going to get a bit of streaming practice in, so feel free to join us. Speaking of joining us, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at the HCW Show. Follow our individual Twitter handles, which are underneath the screen. DPs will be in the description. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. Interviews. That Rate just dropped another one from the Kamikaze GM reviewing the show after the preview did so well. We have got DP reviewing Royal Quest Night 2, which I believe is live now. So go and check that one out. And he's attending more shows. The guy goes to too many shows. But we'll review them all.
Question though, do you think he's tweeted it? Let's see if do you think he's tweeted it?
He must have done. I'm not gonna
call out DP live on our YouTube channel, but I'm gonna check right now. You know. And then we'll see if he actually watches our videos because he'll hear me rant about him right now. Nope, yeah, clearly he hasn't.
No, okay. Well, the video did go live, so yeah.
This is your tweet.
When you are watching this video, DP's video of Royal Quest Night 2, where I host, will be live. That's the draw, by the way. I'm hosting. So yeah, follow us. Join the Discord because the Discord's in the description below as well. Come in. We talk a lot of crap. All good crap, though. But yeah, get involved. Let us know what you do like, don't like, comments, likes, subscribes. It all helps the channel because all we want to do is just have a bit of fun, cover some Brit wrestling, watch Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, pay-per-views, and we're just a couple of mates having a laugh. A couple of mates in DP.
I was about to make that joke. God damn it.
But yeah, so on that note, it is goodbye from me.
Travoya.
And goodbye from him. See you on the next one.
Bye-bye.